Hello y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, hi, welcome. I'm Deidra. If you're returning, it is great to see you. I wanted to share some of my most recent travels. So I'm probably going to split it up into like 3 different videos. One for like maybe each state. Or maybe I'll do Nebraska and Iowa in one, since it was technically one trip and it was just across the river from each other. So I've recently been doing a little bit of traveling to see my family, so I wanted to share some of my favorite stuff from those trips. So last week I went to Omaha, Nebraska and Council Bluffs, Iowa, because I have family that my sister lives out there with my nephew and my brother-in-law. So we went out there, and like I said, she lives in that area somewhere. And I wanted to share some of my favorite stuff. So one of the only stores I shopped at in Council Bluffs had this cute little bag. And so I bought it, and I told her, I'll just put my purchases in that because I didn't want to waste plastic or anything. But the company is, let's tell you on here, no. If I can find the name of the store, I'll tell you. Hold on. Let me see. What is this? It's called Central Perch Vintage and Modern Market. So it's on Pearl Street in Council Bluffs, Iowa. So I highly recommend checking them out. They do have some fun Friends-themed things in addition to other things. Am I missing stuff? Probably. Oh, there it is. Okay. So the first thing I got was this cute little black squirrel. Hunter and I have named him Chatter. Because when we first saw a black squirrel in Iowa, it came down the tree and Hunter was like talking to it and it started like chattering at Hunter, and then it was like running up and down the fence and its tail was shaking, like crazy. So we named him Chatter. I bought it for me, but really I bought it for Hunter. He's super soft, but I got him there at that store. And then I also picked up, this one's for me, a witch that lives here with her little monsters. And then for my manager, I got Spookin' with my Gnomies because she really likes gnomes. And then I got I'm a Crazy Cat Lady on my way to recovery. Just kidding, I'm on my way to adopt another kitty. I thought it was really cute, so I picked that up. And then the last thing I got there was I got Omaha and Nebraska magnets for the fridge. So that is what I got at that store. It's a very cute store. Also across the street is a park with a really nice fountain. I won't tell you the things I heard about the park and the fountain, but when we were there, it was fine. It was a beautiful day. They had squirrels that you could sit on in the park, like metal squirrels or whatever. There's also the Railroad Museum right there on Pearl Street. And that was a really nice museum. It took probably 1 to 2 hours maybe to get through all of it. I think more like an hour. They have a small gift shop up front. It is by donation only. So they recommend $15 per adult, I think it was, or $20 per adult. Maybe it was more than that. I can't remember. But you make a donation in the box for your entrance fee. So everything down there is metered parking, so make sure you have change. And you can only do 2-hour max on each meter, so you have to constantly come back to refeed the meter if you're going to be gone longer than 2 hours. We also did the squirrel jail. That was really cool. The building is not circular, but the jail cells inside are circular. It's a 5-story building, but it didn't house squirrels. It was actually for humans. So it was really cute though. We had a really great time exploring that. It was very narrow, trying to get through some of the passageways and stuff sometimes. So I had to go like sideways sometimes through some things. But they used to house children there because back in the day they didn't have social services. So they would have to keep kids in there, and the children's unit that later housed adults, they had adults there. But the cells are like pie shaped because they're circular. So the bigger side is in the front, and they have little alcoves in the back for their restroom area. But there's a lot of neat history there. And so I picked up a shirt as my souvenir. That's my inmate number. And my husband picked up some play plastic handcuffs for Hunter. So that's what we got from there. So that was really cool. Like I said, I'll insert pictures of the various places that we went to, but it was a lot of fun. We really enjoyed it. In Nebraska, we did so many cool things. We spent a lot of time in Old Market. There's an alley. It kind of reminds me of like Diagon Alley or whatever. Like it's like this tucked away little alley that you go down these stairs and it's got all these vines and stuff. It's so pretty. And they have little shops and restaurants in there and stuff. I personally found that everyone we met in Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma were all so friendly. And they were very considerate of Hunter and like would go above and beyond where, they didn't really have to. Like one of the shops we went in, we were buying gemstones. And it's like you pick a bag and you can fill the bag up for like $14.99. So Hunter filled up a bag and I filled up a bag, but the owner was worried that Hunter didn't pick out enough stones for his bag. So he offered Hunter like 5 more stones, which Hunter declined, but then he found one that he liked and he asked the shopkeeper if he could have it. And the shopkeeper said yes. So I thought that was really sweet of him. He did not have to do that. But he's like, I just know that kids generally don't fill up the bag like they're supposed to. So it was very thoughtful of him. I really appreciated that. Hunter got to make a wish in the fountain down there. There's like this cage thing or like a jail looking cell thing with like these fountains and like the water comes down the wall. And there's like a little watery, I don't want to call it a pond. It's not a pond, but there's like little water puddle, I guess, at the bottom of it. So he made a wish. And then we had dinner at, I think it's called Spaghetti Works. Something like that. Right there in Old Market. And the balloon lady came by. She made Hunter some stuff. She made my nephew, who's 24, some stuff. The food was decent. It was pretty good. It was very well priced for everybody. It comes with a salad bar. And we did an endless pasta, but I don't know if any of us actually refilled our pasta, but it was only like $12.99 a person, and you got one trip to the salad bar and whatever. So it was pretty good. Then it started raining, so thankfully most of it was covered all the way to our hotel except for like the very last part, because we decided to walk to dinner. But there was a Christmas store right there, and so I told my husband, I want to check that out, before we leave. So he's like, let's do it now. So we hopped in there. And poor Hunter he was so tired and he'd had a busy day. We did the Luminarium that day and the park at the Luminarium, and he got to go swimming that day. So he was very tired. And all of these are in Omaha, Nebraska, for the record. But he had a meltdown because he wanted a toy. So we took him out of the store and we explained that, no, you're not getting the toy. You got a whole bunch of stuff today from your aunt. You got stuff from your grandparents today. We're going to wait. We have a few more days of our trip. Let's just wait because you'll probably get more stuff. And so he did not appreciate that. I walked away. I took my sister and my nephew and my brother-in-law away so that BJ could talk to him. And they made an agreement that if Hunter didn't get any other toy from anywhere else or any other gifts, that we would go back and buy it. Well, after about a day, Hunter completely didn't remember the toy and he was fine. But one of the shopkeepers had been looking at us when we were in the Christmas store, like the shop workers. And so he actually went and got some Jelly Belly jelly beans and brought out this little package of jelly beans for Hunter to make him smile. So that was very thoughtful of him. And then we got to the hotel. Breakfast was good. We stayed at the Embassy Suites. I will do a separate video on Embassy Suites. Remind me. The next day we did the Luminarium another day. Then we did the Squirrel Jail and the Train Museum And then we did the zoo. The zoo was fantastic. It was so much walking. I was so tired. And it wasn't too hot, but we did the sky tram and the zoo and the train. I don't think I'd do either one of those again. Maybe the sky tram, but I wouldn't do the train again. There was a kids area up front that Hunter had a blast in, but if you don't be careful, you could end up spending your whole day in that little like adventure play area and never get to anything in the zoo. But he had a lot of fun in the Omaha Zoo. It was a very big museum, not museum. It's a very big zoo. There was a lot to see, a lot of walking. I did not know that Omaha had so many steep hills, but they do. So we did that. We had dinner at this little Italian restaurant in Bellevue. Let me see if I can figure out what it's called. Italian restaurant in Bellevue, Nebraska. Roma Italian. They were delicious. The service was exceptional. They were very attentive. I would highly recommend them. Yeah, so they were really good. We did a Mexican place too one night in Council Bluffs, I think. It was actually on my sister's birthday, so I took in a Day of the Dead cake that I got her. I'll put pictures up. And they loved it. They were all, like, the owners were taking pictures of the cake and everything. It was the hit of the restaurant. So, yeah, overall, like, we had such a great trip. Like I said, I'll pop in some pictures of the different places that we went to. I would highly recommend going and exploring. There was still so much to do that we didn't even get to. Like, we didn't get to walk the riverfront or do any of those types of things. It rained a lot while we were there. That's fine. But yeah, it was such a great trip. So I hope that you guys liked this video. Make sure you like and subscribe down below. And I'll talk to you in my next one. Bye, y'all.